On this episode of Beer, Blues, and BS, the local geek is here. Kidder is here. It's a classic episode of the Triple B, and we're going to have a lot of fun. We're going to play Howard's Hot Takes. It's action movies, so you'd think it'd be good, but I don't know, maybe not our best version. But don't worry. Don't worry. Kidder is going to save this show. Why? Because he got something Metallica related in the mail. And when Kidder talks Metallica, good things happen. And in fact, I may, actually, why do I say that? I do challenge Kidder to create his Metallica Greatest Hits. It gets fun. He picks some really interesting songs. This is going to be fun. And why wouldn't it be? You're here. And when you're here, you're in a good place. Welcome to the show.
It's Howard Blues and V-Mark Kidder. Pour a cold beverage, pull pussies, enjoy time with friends.
Triple B! Well, the Triple B sucks. Okay? Come on.
Whatever, man. This is Beer, Blues, and BS. Online at beerbluesbs.com.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Beer, Blues, and BS, the podcast that boldly predicts that the next spin-off of Star Trek will be Star Trek AI Generation. I am your host, the living embodiment of Charlie Brown, Howard Blues, here as always with my co-host, the man, the myth, the legend, the Mark Kidder. Kidder, how you doing tonight?
I should have created an AI response to this, or potentially added in an episode idea for Star Trek, because I bet it would be better than what the writers have come up with lately. I'm happy to be here, ready to go, get this thing going. You never know who's going to show up, and still hanging out from last week. I'm surprised that he hasn't gone anywhere or wearing, any of the other things, different shirt or something. I was wondering why the tavern was starting to smell a little funky, but Local Geek joins us again. Hello. Welcome.
Yeah, sorry about the smell. Can't help myself.
All right.
You said I don't have to go home, but I can't stay here, and I stayed here.
Yeah, I see that. That chair's awfully comfy. Yes, we only the highest class chairs in the tavern. We pay that extra.
And speaking of extra, let's get to everybody's favorite segment on the show, and that is What's on Tap. And I'm going to throw it over to the Local Geek. I don't think he's drinking yet this week, so Local Geek, what you having?
I got
what you sipping on?
Water. It's not very exciting water. It's just water.
Well, no. Is it Mandan water or is it Bismarck water?
It is Mandan water.
I hate to bring this up, but I kind of, if you mention water, I would, because it's only going to validate Kidder's bias towards Bismarck, and that is, I don't know if you heard, Local Geek, the city of Mandan was awarded a grant to do some improvements to their water system and improve the quality of their water.
I know we're getting a brand new, I don't want to call it a water tower because it's underground, but I don't know what else to call it.
Yeah. So that's a thing which just, allows Kidder to gloat that, Bismarck water is better than Mandan water.
I also know there's projects they've been doing for at least the last year that are ongoing for the next few years to replace all of the water mains throughout the city and get rid of a lot of the lead pipes.
Yeah. Kidder, what are you having? Good sir.
It depends on what you have.
I do not have something that you probably have. It's something from you, but you've already drank it on the show.
Yeah.
Working on the backlog.
Better than backwash.
That's true.
I don't know. I'll probably do this because no time like Mountain Time from New Belgium, the premium lager. And I can't keep this in my fridge until the next hockey season when the Avs play again, because it'll be really bad then. Especially when this was canned in August.
Nice. Nice.
I hope it's not bad.
Go
ahead.
I was going to say, you've had this on the show multiple times. At some point, we're going to have to find a way to like post our list some way. So like people, if they see like, and we do the whole like, oh, Kidder's had this on the show before, they could go look it up if they wanted to see his reaction. What am I going to say? I'll probably put it some episode. Hey, check the show notes. Future Howard is going to take the local geek spreadsheet and just, I'll put all the episodes, and you can go in and see all the times Kidder's had Mountain Time and such. But I'm having something that Kidder gave me a while ago, and so that's why I'm trying to, as I said, work through the backlog. This is from the Bismarck Distillery. It is their bourbon cola. So, getting this out of my fridge. It is 5% alcohol by volume. It is made with bourbon, whiskey, and cola. Drink what you like. Created by the good people at Bismarck Distillery, Bismarck, North Dakota. Yeah. It's a
I thought I was the last one going through those.
No. No. I just started on them recently. Yep. Anyway, one thing I do know, though, gents, is from everybody else who has had this, is that there is not enough bourbon whiskey inside this. Now, this could be a bit of a problem because, as Howard has reported for the last many months, I have been out of whiskey. So, knowing I was going to drink this, I knew I had to get some whiskey. So, gents, I actually went out to the store, and I hemmed and I hawed because I haven't bought whiskey in years. The last whiskey I had in this house was Jack Daniels. I wanted to get something good, but wasn't going to break the bank and such. And I ended up settling on this Bullit Bourbon.
Ooh.
The 10-year.
Yeah, I went with the aged 10-year Bullit Bourbon Frontier Whiskey. Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey from select barrels, aged longer for a character that's rich, deep, and smooth. It is 45.6% alcohol by volume, 91.2 proof. So I figured if I was going to buy a bottle of bourbon, as I said, I wanted a good bottle, but not one that was going to break the bank. I haven't even ripped the seal on this yet. So we'll try this, and then I'll add some of that, as the gents have advised. So, yep, I get that strong alcohol smell. Yeah, I'd agree with you. It is very, it's got cola. It does have a bourbon kind of finish to it, like you would expect, like if you did a Jack and Coke or something along those lines. But not too strong. So I'm gonna take your guys' advice. Let's tear into this thing as I knock over everything on my desk. I don't think Google will let that sound play through. Pop the cork. I like Kidder. My allergies are acting up, so I can smell that that's alcohol. That's about it. And I failed, gents. I should have brought down like a shot glass so I could take a quick shot of this and see. But here goes nothing. We'll do a nice little...
If only you had a shot glass that was custom engraved by...
It is up in the display cabinet, good sir. Where all the people who come and visit my fine abode can see and look upon the glory of it. I got a little here on the can. Yeah, that's a whiskey. I am not the professional whiskey taster that Brother Nico is. Just saying.
I'm not either. I did, though, right before Easter, I picked up a bottle of Elijah Craig cask strength.
According to the tasting notes, it should be smooth and complex, notable high rye mash bill, over 68% corn, about 28% rye, 4% malted barley. The extended aging contributes to a more refined and deeper flavor profile compared to the standard Bullit bourbon. Should have a rich oaky aroma when those of us with allergies aren't disabled by that. There should be a little bit of vanilla, some sweet classic bourbon vanilla notes, hints of dark dried fruits, kind of like cherry, apricot, maybe a plum scent or taste. And then the spices, similar to cinnamon, clove, peppercorn, and allspice. The cooked sugar aromas, the caramel notes, toffee. And even a little bit, if you really go through it, maybe some dried cocoa, subtle smokiness, grilled peach, or rum cake. Any of that stick out for you?
I mean, that kind of just sounds like they threw like the whole kitchen sink in there, you know, a little bit of everything. That
sounds very typical for a rye, or at least a rye-based whiskey. Very similar. Yeah. Should be very smooth to sip, though.
Yeah. I mean, it's going well in this bourbon and cola, so it's a nice thing. I was bouncing my phone on all the paint I have on my desk, and I knocked it over. And now it's bugging me, so I'm fixing it. I would probably give this I'd give it a 3. It's all right. Don't know that I drink a lot of it. So I don't know. I've gotten off of whiskey. You know, whiskey has done some terrible things to me. But hey, now the local geek knows I have a whiskey in the house. So potential, if we ever bring back If You Know, You Know. And if you don't know what the game If You Know, You Know is, go back. Check out some of those episodes, because those were fun. So, Kidder, at the end of last episode, you teased something that came in the mail. So,
oh, hell yeah, I did.
I want to make sure you get a chance to talk about it right off the top.
Well, thank you.
Because it's the top of my list, the latest list, is I pre-ordered it, and it showed up nearly a week early because Metallica loved me. I mean, clearly, right? With the award back here. But anyway, yes, it is the remastered, expanded edition of Load, originally released in 1996. This expanded and remastered edition that I got, which is the 3-disc version, features the 2 CDs of unreleased material, including riffs, demos, rough mixes, and live tracks, and also the remastered album itself. Now, the cool thing about this is on the original release in the US, Metallica were unable to release the full version of the Outlaw Torn. And so if you listen to the Outlaw Torn in the previous album versions, unless you got a bootleg copy from overseas or on a limited release single, which was a bonus track, you had no idea that the Outlaw Torn was actually a full song. But it is now proudly put right here on the end of track or CD number 2, so track 14. And then as you can see here on CD 1, it's your standard 1 through 14 of the song list. And as you're looking across the middle, it's the various riffs and where the songs originated from. And then as you look on the disc 3, it's the live tracks once again. And you notice over here, track number 11 on CD 3, Devil's Dance and Fuel are listed on there. The reason those are listed on there, because you're like, Kidder, those are on the album Reload, which was released in 1997. Yes, you are correct. But Metallica made Load and Reload during the same sessions, along with some of the music that was featured later on Garage Incorporated in 1998. And they remastered them, threw them on here. And so the version that you will hear of the 2 tracks, Fuel and Devil's Dance, are different than what were eventually released on Reload. So, lots of info that I just threw right at you. And in fact, last week on release day, Friday the 13th, 96.5 The Walleye, where my show airs 2 to 7 p.m. Central Time, Monday through Friday, we featured a track each hour from Load, playing all of the songs. So you get to hear all of them all day long. In fact, all week we featured tracks off of Load, and I love it. Lots of Metallica time. Yeah. Metallica. Yeah. The sound quality, if you put them next to each other, listen to one, listen to the other one, a definite improvement, cleaning it up, post-producing, helping it be equalized and sound even better than it did on the albums, and just like you were sitting in the studio next to Lars and James. Yeah.
All right. Kidder, I'm glad you brought up Metallica, because I had this idea, and
oh yeah,
we're going to do this. I think you'll like this. Local Geek, you can play along too if you want, although it might be harder if you're not as big of a Metallica fan as Kidder. But Kidder, here's what we're going to do. We are going to make Kidder's Metallica Greatest Hits. I have a list of the studio albums for Metallica. I'm going to name the album. You get to pick one song that leaves that album and goes on to a Greatest Hits album that's put together by you. So it's going to be 11 songs total.
Only 11 songs?
There's only 11 studio albums. That's not including like the cover album, which is Garage Inc., or the live albums like S&M. So we're just doing the studio albums.
Okay.
It gives us a chance to come back and do the other ones later, man. So,
okay.
So, I mean, listen, if you want to throw stuff in at the end, I mean, I can't stop you, man. I can't.
Yeah, can't stop this train.
Yeah. So, and mostly it's because for some odd reason, like Wikipedia, like it lists the studio albums under the Metallica page, but it doesn't list the other albums. So I'd have to go and like try and track all of that down, which is stupid. All right. So, anyway, starting off with their first album from 1983, Kill 'Em All. Kidder, what's the song you're picking off of that album?
There are some fantastic tracks on there, obviously. I'd have to go with Four Horsemen.
All right. Local Geek, are you wanting in on this, or are you like hiding in the background?
I'm going to hide in the background on this one.
All right.
Come on.
All right. Please roll a stealth check. D&D joke for you folks. Okay. Moving up to their second album from 1984, Ride the Lightning.
There we go. That's awfully refreshing. Oh, no, you spilled. Local Geek. How could you?
So,
oh, man. Creeping Death.
Yeah, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. From their third album from 1986, Master of Puppets. What are you choosing?
Now, Master of Puppets is tough because when people ask me what my favorite album is from Metallica, this is typically my named choice because there's so many great songs on it, and they were recording it around my birthday when I was born. So it's obviously the best album. Disposable Heroes.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm saying this like
Orion's really good, but
I'm saying this like I know all of these songs and like can actually judge your choices. I would be honest, Kidder. I have probably heard these when you played them in our dorm room back in college, but I don't know these. I might have to, when I listen to this episode played back, I might have to like go and check out Kidder's top picks.
I would love that for you.
We'll see.
Be good. Be good.
Might do it. Yeah, might be fun. Jumping to their fourth album from 1988, and Justice for All.
Now, see, this one's kind of tough because I love Blackened. I love Harvester of Sorrow, Frayed Ends of Sanity. But I'm gonna go with the Shortest Straw.
All right. 1991 brings us to the Black Album, or just Metallica.
Yeah. Metallica. Yeah. This is debatably Metallica's biggest album. And it's tough. It's very, very tough because there's so many great songs on this album. Rick Rubin helped Metallica kick ass. This whole album, you know, sad but true, powerful sound blasting you, holier than thou. Who you are, you know, that's fantastic. I think the Big D Business Center's making an appearance. Don't Tread on Me, obviously, fantastic. Through the Never, and then of Wolf and Man. I'm going to go out there with My Friend Misery. My Friend of Misery. Yeah.
I actually know that one. Okay. All right. And then it's interesting, Kidder. I've never really looked at like the years that they came out. Like it just interesting, but like clearly in the early days, like they were producing an album like every 2 years, like just spot on. But then we get a 5-year gap before we get 1996's Load, the album that you just got. So, Kidder, song you're taking off of Load.
14 tracks off of Load. I do love Cure. Poor Twisted Me is also fantastic. Bleeding Me, but I'm gonna go with the Outlaw Torn. It's the last track on the album, but damn, it's good.
All right. A year later, although we did talk about this, they were kind of recorded as part of the same session. We get Reload. What are you going to grab off of Reload?
Again, so many tracks that I love. And it's funny that we're trying to pick favorite tracks on here, and that's the answer that I say about like each album. Hey, man, I love all this. I'm gonna try not to say that in the next one, just because I love a lot of the songs, right? This one, I'm going to go with Fixer.
Okay.
Again, the last track on the album, but a sleeper.
Nice. After that, Metallica would take a good time off, about 6 years, roughly, and until we get to 2003's Saint Anger. What are you picking off of Saint Anger?
Yeah. You know, I think out of I'm gonna go with the Unnamed Feeling. I'm gonna go with that one. Yeah.
Okay. From there, it'd be another 5-year break before 2008's Death Magnetic. What you pulling from Death Magnetic?
Cyanide.
Yeah. Okay. And then it'd be an 8-year break until we get to 2016's Hardwired to Self-Destruct.
Man, which one do I... Halo on Fire is fantastic. Halo on Fire, final answer.
All right. And then you only had to wait 7 years to get their last album from 2023, 72 Seasons. What you picking?
I think on this one it'd be Too Far Gone. Question mark.
Interesting. Kidder, I was recently traveling, and I happened to just listen to the episode of our show where 72 Seasons came out. And at that time, your top song on the album was Lux Eterna. So, but you said you needed more time to let it, sit and percolate till you found your one. So it's interesting that you
sounds like that's what I would say.
Yeah. Well, so there you go. There's Kidder's greatest hits off of the studio albums. What he would pick and make if he could customize his own album in a way. But Kidder, we know that there's some other albums out there. Do you want to throw in any other picks from Garage Inc. or S&M or any of the others?
Yeah. We had S&M and S&M 2. Very interesting with S&M 2 because we have some newer music and they did different songs with those. And so there was a whole different feel. The big one they pushed was All Within My Hands because it was a slower, various orchestral take instead of the trash can feel from Saint Anger. So out of all of those with a different feel, that's probably what I would go with off of S&M 2. Scrolling back down, we had Lulu, which was a Lou Reed Metallica project in 2011, which I thought was terrible. The whole thing was garbage. I'm not a huge Lou Reed fan, so there's that. But if we took Lou Reed's vocals out of it completely, we'd have a chance at a decent album. But the view was weird because, James is singing, I am the table. Why are you a table? And how did you get in here? I have questions. Just questions. S&M, the first one, there's so many great songs on there. Tied there because there are 2 new tracks that they created for S&M, and that'd be Minus Human and No Leaf Clover. Out of the 2, if I had to pick one or the other, No Leaf Clover would be my single pick off of S&M.
Fun fact check here, Kidder. Metallica, S&M, only Metallica album I own.
Mm-hmm.
I like that album a lot. I love the orchestra mixed with Metallica. I think that is just chef's kiss, the best of the best when it comes to Metallica.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I'm not even the largest Metallica fan, but I love me that album.
I don't remember if I was there when you bought that or not, but yeah.
Well, the reason I bought it was you had the concert DVD back when we were in the dorm room, and you watched it, and I watched it with you.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I really like this. I liked the depth that the orchestra added to the Metallica songs and just making them sound far more epic and awesome. And
yeah,
that's why I bought the album. Yeah.
It's a phenomenal album to listen to, and it's a good 2.5 hours of rock.
Yeah.
98's Garage Incorporated, another double disc set of covers. Astronomy is a fantastic song. And I mean, Tuesday's Gone is really good, but I think I'd have to go with. I do love Blitzkrieg. That song is fantastic too. Man, yeah, probably Astronomy. Mm-hmm.
Okay, my favorite one off of there, and I think it might be Tuesday's Gone. I'm trying to quickly look
with guest vocals and assistance from John Popper.
That's exactly it. Yes, because of Blues Traveler. Blues Travelers John Popper is on there. And
thanks, Fatso. You hear Lars say that.
Yeah. So that's a fun. Well, this was kind of cool, Kidder. I'm glad I'm hoping you enjoyed it. It was kind of a fun little thing that I thought of as I was driving through the back country of North Dakota, listening to one of our old shows, and you talk about 72 seasons. I was like, we should have Kidder pick his best, the number one song off each album and see what we create. So there you go. And, hey, if you have a Spotify account or something like that, I'm sure you could probably put this together and listen to like Kidder's top Metallica greatest hits. So something you could do if you're out there and looking to do that. I'm not going to make Kidder put it together, but you could.
It's already put together in the Killer Kidder Show playlist. You just have to see everything else that's in there.
And hit skip a lot. The other thing, Kidder, that came out of that, and I'll ask, even though we don't have a huge crew with us tonight, but I think we got some principal members here. Because we're at that time of year. And one of the other episode that I listened to while I was traveling was the Impossible Music Challenge, round 2. And that was fun. And unfortunately, we haven't been able to do it since then. Like, we got the clips. If you don't know what we're talking about, this was a trivia contest. Kidder got signed up for a team. They send out, it's 24 clips. They're like all of like a second, maybe 2 seconds if you're lucky, from songs, and you have to try and identify the songs from those 2 seconds. And we've turned it into our own little game amongst the group. Last year we didn't get the answers, which is sad because there was a Blues Traveler song in there, and I knew it like instantly. I'm like, I got this. We didn't get to do it. And I don't think we really got to do it again this year. So Kidder, I am proposing, and I want to know if people would be interested. I am willing to put in the work to find us. I might not do 24. I might just do 20 because 24 is a weird number. To put together 20 similar snippets of songs for us to do on the show. Like, I will do the work on that. Would you guys be up for playing if I pulled that together? We do it the same rules. I'd send it out, like, give you time to listen to them, make some predictions, and come on the show and give your guesses. What do you guys say? Should we bring this thing back?
I did get one this year. I just never sent it over.
I know.
And I actually got the answers to it, so we wouldn't be left high and dry. But yes.
Well, maybe we should do those first, and then we can bring this back. Because it was a great episode, Kidder. Like, I listened back. Local Geek was going through like the Nickelback discography, pulling stuff. It was pretty good. We had Rude Boy Kyle winning the whole thing. He got 5 right. JS was like just out of his element because none of them were country songs. It was a good time. It was a very good time. So I think we need to bring this back, man.
Yeah, even though I did poorly, I enjoyed it.
Oh, it was hilarious. I laughed my ass off as I was driving. So we got to bring that back. It's okay. I have some other ideas for other little games and such that to add to the show. Don't worry. It'll be all right. So Kidder's like, whatever. Man, I'm on this show for the beer.
Sometimes.
Sometimes. Yes. Well, gents, speaking of games and therefore, it's time for another round of Howard's Hot Takes. And if you're new, this is a game where, hey, I have come up with some questions meant to elicit some hot takes from our guests. And tonight we are doing maybe I shouldn't do that one tonight. I was going to do 90s cartoons because that would be fun. but I happen to know the doc has been looking forward to us doing 90s cartoons. So, gents, other categories I have ready to go. I have sci-fi TV, superheroes, and I got action movies. What would you like to do?
I'll refer to Local Geek for his answer because I want to know what he would like.
A tough one.
I don't think that was on the list.
Let's do action movies.
All right.
I think superheroes would be fun with a bigger group.
Yeah. All right. Here we go. Action movies. And we will be alternating back and forth between Kidder and the Local Geek so that they, I'm not just picking on Kidder, making him make the first pick every time. Question 1. What is the action movie that made you cry, either tears of joy or sadness? I don't know why AI thinks that you guys would be crying at a action movie, but this question was ridiculous enough. I had to put
it. Avengers Endgame.
Oh, okay. Safe pick. Local Geek.
I'm gonna go not necessarily of either of those for the reason for the crying, but crying out of laughter is the edited version of Die Hard. The censoring that they put into it for the TV.
So, good choice. For me, I would have gone with Star Trek Into Darkness. I cried when it was over because it was so good. I just wanted it to keep going.
I mean, they might as well have made it go a little bit longer and figured out that whole, end piece of the movie, because clearly they're not going to make another one.
Well, which is a shame. All right, question
Probably
2
would have been better than the rest of the movie.
Probably. Question 2. Going to the Local Geek, the action movie sequel that's actually better than the original.
Better than the original.
Better than the original.
That's tough.
I'm going to go with Hulk. I know, I'm cheating. Because the first one sucked so bad, they had to make a new one. You know what? I'm going to double down on that. What the hell was the DC movie where the first one sucked so bad, they made another one like a year and a half later, the exact same title? Both of those. Yeah. The hell was that series?
I don't know. Now I'm very curious.
It was the group of them. It was like DC's Avengers.
Let's see. There was Justice League, but then there was also Batman versus Superman. So is that the?
No. The Justice League.
Oh,
Both
okay.
of them.
So you're talking about the fact that they made the Justice League and then they did the Schneider cut.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
But then it was a completely different movie. So it's still a Justice League. It's a completely different movie.
Yeah. Local Geek is still thinking on this.
And I didn't think I'd be bringing up cartoon book movies, but apparently it just fits.
I mean, my answer to this was of course Star Trek. I'm kidding. Expendables 2. I like the second one. It took what was good about Expendables and improved upon it. By the time you get to 3, it got campy, but it was I thought it was a good step up.
I haven't seen the second one of that one.
You can skip number 4.
Yeah, it kind of was the first one was a good idea, good start to it. The second one, they kind of they upped
Stone
it.
Cold, it was in it.
Yeah, the second one was good and solid because they really got into it, and the third one they got campy, and then I didn't even bother seeing the fourth one. It was kind of like the trajectory was up and then down pretty quick.
Yeah, I don't have anything for that one.
Okay. Local Geek dropping no hot takes on this. Yeah, you're safe to just to throw out an action movie too. Like, anyway, question 3, going back to Kidder, the action movie trope that needs to die.
Unrealistic geometry and like ballistics, like the over the top unrealisticness of things.
Okay, that's a good one.
I like that. Kind of similar to Kidder's. A lot of times, like with the firearms, you'll hear the cocking of a hammer on a gun that doesn't have a hammer. That's kind of one of mine.
That's a good one. That's a good one. Mine is hey, we've hit page 8 in the script, or since the last action sequence, so now it's time for an action sequence, whether we need one or not, like, or whether it fits in the story. We've all seen those movies where it's like we're having like the deep conversation we're figuring out, and then like we're attacked by ninjas or commandos or something. It's like, oh no, there's a fight scene. Okay, now we're back to like the plot. Like, I'm okay if there's some story in with my action. So that's usually where you get like the hero guy like beating up the two like no-named security guards. Like I think there's like a Jason Bourne movie where he's like walking into the like security's like, "Sir, stop," and boom, knocks him out quick. It's like, why? Well, because we're 8 pages away since the last action sequence, so we need to throw in something.
There's another type of movie out there that Howard just watches for the plot.
Anyway, back to the questions. Question 4, going to the local geek. Action movie hero you'd want on your side in a real fight.
I think I'd probably want Deadpool.
Okay, interesting choice.
Deadpool's good. Yes, very good because, can't really die. I would go with Chuck Norris and then Steven Seagal. And then the third, maybe Jean-Claude Van Damme.
I like how the question was like the hero and you just named actors. Kidder.
You said the hero. Have you not seen any of those TV shows or movies?
I'm just saying, I would accept if you would have said like Walker, Texas Ranger, because that's the hero, the character, You just said the actor, Chuck Norris.
Okay, well, look, because it doesn't matter what movie any of those people are in. They're basically the same character, so it's really a blanket statement here, okay?
I got my answer for number 2 also now.
Oh, okay.
Bad Boys 2 was better than Bad Boys 1.
Interesting.
Yeah, I'll go with that.
Interesting. Okay. Interesting choice. And our last question, going to Kidder first. Action movie with the most iconic one-liner.
I mean, there were a ton of them in the Expendables.
There were, but they were mostly playing on their old stuff from their movies.
Yes. And that's what makes it iconic.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yippee-ki-yay, Mr. Falcon.
You just said that once the future Howard has to work.
I could have done the TV edit. Yippee-ki-yay, Mr. Falcon.
I mean, I would have gone with like the Terminator lines because I hadn't even seen Judgment Day when I was a kid, but I knew Hasta La Vista, baby, and I'll be back,
How about, as much as I don't like Batman or any of those, how about freeze or you need to chill?
I think those are only iconic and in the worst writing ever.
I don't know. They're up to our standards of being very punny.
I mean that is true, but it was The sad thing about that is if you know like the true comic book like origins of Mr. Freeze, like he's a very sad, tragic character. And so portraying him as Arnold Schwarzenegger making ice puns was like the worst portrayal you could have done of him. You know, he's literally a scientist who's trying to save his wife who's sick with a terminal disease and has frozen her until he can come up with a cure. And all of his like evil schemings and such is to like hopefully get the equipment he needs to find a cure. He keeps getting stopped. Like, he's a very tragic villain and one of the best, if you ask me, Batman villains. And they kind of played on that with the Schwarzenegger, version of it, but they didn't like really dive into it. But yes, then the fact that all he does is make ice puns is like, it's kind of like when they portray Bane as just a hulked out luchador. It's like he's actually in the comics one of like the smartest villains. Like
the bane of your existence.
I mean, his whole plan, like the most famous arc is Nightfall when it comes to Bane, and it's basically him getting all these other villains to cause trouble and fight Batman, so that when Batman is tired and weak, he can ambush him and break his back and destroy the Batman. Like, this is like sophisticated like levels of tactics and planning, and often he's again just portrayed as I said, like a hulked out luchador. So anyway, that's Howard's Hot Takes. Action movies. Enjoy. Let us know what you think. Put your answers, comments, below. Somebody will read them at some point. Yeah. There's something I was going to tie into. Oh, gents, I've actually been watching some TV, which is
that's crazy.
Yeah. The wife and I, once the kids are in bed and it's just kind of us and Tiny Miss, and usually Tiny Miss is sleeping, we've been coming down here. But we haven't been watching anything new or like super exciting. We have gone back to the 90s. We've been working our way through Home Improvement, like binge watching Home Improvement. Either of you ever watched that as a kid growing up? That show, for being like 90s sitcom, actually holds up really, really well. It's a lot of the shows you go back and you watch and you're like, yeah, this was hokey. That one holds up. Like, there's been some good laughs that both my wife and I have had at it. And I will add, it hits differently than like what I remember as a kid. There's some jokes and such in there that I'm like, oh, well, that went way over my head as a kid, but okay. I'm surprised you said that on TV. So it's kind of been interesting, but we've been watching that. That's been our kind of nightly routine because we're both just too tired to really dive into something really heavy and new. So it's kind of been our nice evening. So you guys been watching anything new, interesting, exciting?
It's been a little bit, but I don't know that I mentioned it on the show yet. We watched The Lincoln Lawyer that you had recommended a while back and finally got to it and really enjoyed it. Looking forward to the new season coming out later this year, or presumably later this year.
Yeah, we're still like a season behind. Like, we haven't watched the newest season, but that's a solid show.
It is.
That is a very solid show if you like kind of a crime drama, courtroom drama. That one's excellent. So I'm glad you checked it out because it's good. The one that I'm still waiting for Kidder to check out that's on my list, and I haven't been able to watch the newest season of it yet, is Reacher. I'm really interested to see what Kidder thinks of Reacher.
It's on the list.
I know it's
have notes.
I know it's on the list. You got like the world's longest list of stuff. So I just put down the Star Trek for a while, watch some Reacher. It's all of like 10 episodes, man.
No.
It's more than that. It's like 3-4 seasons.
Well, it is, but like at least watch the first season, man. I promise you'll like it. It's like the perfect mix of like action movie and cop drama.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. Allegedly. Okay.
Mobland. Season 1 is finished. Fantastic. Pierce Brosnan, Tom Hardy, slew of other top tier actors.
I haven't even heard of this show. That's how out of
Plus.
That's how out of the loop I am.
Mm-hmm.
My TV watching has been Home Improvement and then wrestling with the kids because they have gotten into wrestling. I'm actually a little scared of tomorrow morning because Saturdays, I let my wife sleep in. I take the kids, we come down and we finish Monday Night Raw wherever we are. And my daughter's favorite wrestler is wrestling in the main event of this week's Raw, and I know what happens, and I'm just like, oh.
Mm-hmm. Good luck with that.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks.
Yep.
No, I
saw the spoilers, but actually sped through it earlier today and went.
I mean, I can't complain about it. I don't know about you, Kidder. I have been because I have the kids, I've been watching it fairly closely, and I have to say, it is so much better than when we were watching the last time that you and I were watching together. The story writing is better. The promos are better. I don't if I want to skip anything, it's the annoying commercials and ads between matches. I just want to get to the next thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like it's solid. I'm loving the heel John Cena run. I think it's fantastic. I love the whole concept. I know people are like, John Cena as a heel, and I'm like, but this is great. And I don't want him to lose the title until close to the end, but I love this whole I'm retiring. And I'm retiring with the belt, and I'm ruining wrestling. And so it's the question of who's going to take the title off of him. Can they stop him?
Mm-hmm. It's
a brilliant John Cena heel run. It's not just we turned him heel because, edgy. It's this is a really interesting, gripping thing. So it's been fun. I'm interested to see what they do with bringing R-Truth back as Ron Killings.
He was on SmackDown tonight.
I saw a clip of that. We don't get SmackDown. My son, that is the one thing. With the streaming services that we have, we don't get to see SmackDown. So, when we've watched some of the premium live events, my son's like, "Who's this person?" I'm like, "They're on SmackDown. We don't get to watch SmackDown." He's like, "Why not?" I'm like, "Because we don't get that channel." So. Sorry, you're just gonna have to wait until they get transferred over to Raw. So, but he's getting to the point where he can recognize songs, so that's good. He's got his favorites that he cheers for. But I will say we do spend a lot of time because he's still kind of young for wrestling. We spend a lot of time when I talk to him about wrestling, I talk to him about these are guys telling a story, It's they are doing this stunt work to make you believe that this is, what's going on. And yes, people can get hurt. It's not that it's fake. They are telling a story. They are doing the stunts. This is like watching it in a TV show or a movie. They're just doing it live in front of an audience. And that has helped because it kind of thankfully he hasn't been overly punching or kicking his sister. I do get my daughter does still do the crossbody high dive off the couch onto dad whenever she can, but that's been about the only consequence we've had of it. So, but we talk about it in a story sense and why this, which is good because we have had tears over wrestling when people have lost, you know? So when Cody Rhodes lost the belt to John Cena, my son cried. And it wasn't because Cena had turned heel. It was just that he really liked Cody Rhodes. So it's been fun. Been fun. Kidder, did you watch Worlds Collide?
No.
I recommend it. It's on YouTube. I recommend it.
It's been busy.
I know you. I know you've been busy. That's why I'm telling you. I'm recommending it. That it's worth the watch. If it was terrible, I would tell you that, and you could skip it. But I'm saying if you have the time, check it out. The wrestling was excellent. It's actually a really good show. Besides the fact that you don't know who most of the people are. Like, it was a pretty
The iguana guy.
The iguana guy was excellent, man. He was fantastic. There was some really cool stuff with it. So, highly recommend it. My kids loved. Like I was actually going to skip watching that one with my kids because I'm like, they always want to ask me questions about who people are and what their gimmick is and all of this, and I'm like, I don't know. AAA Lucha Libre. So I'm like, I'm going to skip it. And I got into about the first match is the one that involves Mr. Iguana. And I got maybe 5 minutes and I'm like, no, okay, I got to save this for the kids because they're going to love this guy and the match. And we watched it. It was fun. It was a lot of fun. So anyway, gents, we are coming to the end of this show. Any last minute topics somebody wants to get in there? I don't want to feel like, I'm keeping you from sharing glorious pools of wisdom or anything like that.
I'm sure I had something at one point, but
I guess, folks, on this lack of topics, the fact it's late and most of us have to get up and do stuff in the morning. Kidder, we've been talking for quite a while. It's time we wrap this show up. And to do that, we probably should do some cheap plugs. Try and pay the bills.
well, it'd be nice if people would buy stuff. That'll help to get us some money or donate. Both of which you could do at streamlabs.com/beerbluesbs. Again, streamlabs.com/beerbluesbs right here on the screen if you're watching this. Or if you're listening to this, thank you, and go to the show notes. Also, like us at Facebook and Instagram, and follow us and subscribe for free to all of the places on all of the audio platforms, including Pandora, Stitcher, TuneIn, IMDb, Player FM, Spotify, iHeartRadio, YouTube Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and of course the video version on YouTube itself. Join us on all of those places, and we would love you for the length of this show. So thanks. Appreciate it. Other than that, join us again each week for the show because that helps us get the clicks and do the things too. But really, as little as $1 a month can help to keep thirst quenched on a thirsty podcast host. That'd be awesome. Help us out. Please. Otherwise, email us, message us. We want to hear from you. Drop some comments in the show notes and underneath the comments and react and stuff. Yeah, you, Howard. And for doing the reaction, final thought. Go.
Hey, thank you to everybody who checked out all of our shorts recently. Kidder, we had one that saw over 2,000 views, man. It's, yeah. I mean, it was one where you guys were giving me crap about, painting, but hey, that resonated with people. So, hey, if that's what brought you to the show, thank you. Hopefully you'll stick around.
Where'd all those people go?
I mean, we could also say, Kidder, we're up to 200 some followers and 490 some people following us on Facebook. Come on over, Facebook people. You should hit the subscribe button. That would help us out a great deal. But I do want to say I am planning, because I run a second channel where I do Howard's Cave of Wonder, and it's been dormant for a long time. I'm hoping to bring that guy back, and hopefully you'll join us there too. But make sure you're subscribed here, because I got ideas of things coming up, and we're going to have a lot of fun as we roll through the summer. So make sure you're tuning in. I don't know why I'm just sounding more like a pitch than a final thought. I think the bourbon cola is getting to me. So anyway, before I get any more pitchy, let's just end this final thought. Yeah.
Okay, local geek, over to you.
Take care of your health and listen to your body. If it tells you things are wrong, don't try to ignore them and put them off.
Wonderful. And on that medically related semi-ad. Yeah, thanks, local geek. Thanks, Howard Blues. I'm still Mark Kidder. We need to get on out of here. So, for those guys and everybody else who normally joins us and isn't here tonight, thanks for being here. We hope to see you on the next episode of Beer, Blues, and BS. Of course, keep your glass at least half full. There's free beer tomorrow, and we will catch you on down that prescription-filled Tuscan Highway. Have a great night, great day, great time, whenever and wherever you are, and we will see you on the next episode of Beer, Blues, and BS.
You have been listening to a UA production of Beer, Blues, and BS. If you enjoyed the show, help others find out about it by rating the show or leaving a review at your podcast listening service of choice. Thanks for listening, and may your glass never be empty. UA Productions presents A Glimpse Behind the Curtain.
All right. 2 shows down. Cool. It's been fun. I'm going to feel this in the morning, though.
Yeah, you might.
One thing, I don't know if you guys noticed, I had this gag planned out for a while. But the Bullit glass or bottle is a bit empty right now. And then when you guys weren't looking, I was pouring more into my bourbon cola. I'm down to straight whiskey at this point.
It would have been
noticed
funnier
a couple
if we
times
could
they
see
did
it.
What was that?
I noticed it a couple times you did it.
Yeah, I didn't hear what Kidder did.
It would have been funnier if we could see it in a glass. You know, glass keeps staying the same as you're holding it.
I thought about doing that, but trust me, on the multicam view, there's definitely times where you can see me do it, because like when you held up the loaded CD and Local Geek was busy on his phone, I literally poured it on camera and then quickly put it away. So
I think I saw that one out the corner of my eye.
So yeah, I don't know.
Very good.
It was definitely a gag I had planned with like more people, and I brought this stuff down, and I'm like, I'm not waiting until another week, because